gentlemen, shortly about to kick off this Masters Top 4B match. There's the fist bump. Here we go. Who will be meeting Ethan Wild's festival lead in the final? Gardevoir or Gholdengo? It's Daniel to kick things off.
Okay, Daniel's bringing it home. We're going on in with an S-ball. Here we go. What is the ideal pick here? We kind of do want the Lunatone. We need to get that draw engine on board. But Gimmighoul's also a very important part of this deck. Going for the Lunatone first, but having a little prize check just to make sure nothing too crucial's in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's establish our early game draw power. It's been one of the best partners in this game since its inclusion, that Solrock Lunatone package with that Lunar Cycle ability, being able to discard a basic fighting energy to draw free. We also get a Pokebad, and I'm sure this is where those Gimmighouls are going to start to come down as well, because eventually we're going to need to evolve up to those Gholdengo EXs, that coin bonus ability. Actually, we're going to start trying to utilize a more efficient attacker as well. We're going to go to that afterwards, but Gholdengo will allow you to have some draw power with coin bonus, make it rain for some massive amounts of damage, and there is the Gimmighoul after all. But then it's got a new partner, and it's Baneri, Amy.
Baneri, yeah, of course, we can make use of the Mega Lopunny EX. It's got a huge 330 HP, which can be really quite troublesome for these Gardevoir decks. And also, it has effective moves that can not only do lots of damage, but also that have very few energy that need to be attached in order to use them, just like Gholdengo itself. So this is a great inclusion that's super flexible in this matchup.
And look at this board, Amy. 3 Gimmighouls already down. Baneri also waiting in the wings. Energy attachment now over from Ted's side straight to the Frillish in the active spot. Starting that single lone Frillish in the list once again, similar to what we saw a little bit earlier today. But it's going to be up against a pretty tricky customer in the Solrock Lunatone package, and the Gimmighouls and Gholdengos waiting in the background. Routes hits the field. We need those. Ever so important to evolve eventually up into those Gardevoir EXs, utilize Psychic Embrace, and then also start swinging away with its own partners in crime. Then also at the same time, with the Psychic Embrace energy attachments, we do damage to ourselves. Monkey Dory is there to really heal off some of that damage, but also make it easier to take one-hit KOs. So this is a scenario where we're going to be in a real tricky spot. It's just going to be the Frillish Oceanic Gloom in this initial spot here. No supporter played here by Ted. Could be a bit awkward to work with.
Okay, we're going for the Lunar Cycle first. We also have a Fighting Gong in hand, so we can go ahead and thin the deck a little more, but we can't use items. Quite right, Alex.
There
Caught
you
me
go.
there. Can't use the items, so we have to go for the Lunar Cycle first. Don't know if we particularly have any supporters that are useful right now, other than drawing forward one of these Rolts to knock it out with the Solrock.
Cosmic Beam for the first prize of this top 4B match here. Ted is currently holding on to the Pheasantipity and a Monkey Dory. I think may have just top decked a Lily's Determination as well. So a great turn 2 hand to kind of work with. We're going to see a fresh 8 cards after shuffling the hand back into the deck. One of the prime supporters in a lot of these stage 2 decks now. And then can see an additional 3 cards with that Flip the Script as early as turn 2. So really in a spot where really could try and turn the game on its head. We're going to be looking for a number of pieces to try and protect that routes. If not, get a second one down once again.
Now, we've just had one Ralts knocked out. One's in the prize cards, and the only other Ralts is on the bench. So the only way we're going to get it back is with some recursion, or we're going to have to wait and take a prize card later.
Maybe try and protect it with that Bravery Charm where there's no way to evolve. No, there is a Curlier, so we are bulking ourselves up to 100 HP there to try and protect it away from a Cosmic Beam, perhaps. Artisan being utilized now playing it down because your opponent can't utilize it because they have a full bench. So this is perfect for Ted's position here. No targets because, of course, that other routes is currently prized and don't really want to take up too much bench space for the moment, at least. And now it's just over to get the attachment on Monkey Dory, get Adrenabrain live and kicking as soon as possible.
That prevents, obviously, our temptation to attack into the Frillish, regardless of not being able to take a knockout. Monkey Dory makes that much less tempting as they can start throwing the damage back. And all of our unevolved Pokemon on the bench quite dislike that.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking to do yet another Oceanic Gloom. 20 damage to the active. So Solrock now down to 50 HP. Just all of those items. Does have Lilies in hand here. But, I mean, imagine just being able to get a turn where all of those items could have been popping off. But
Would
we're
have
just
been
having,
nice.
just having to shuffle it back in and just hope we see them again later. Because we're going to need to start getting access to some more of those energies. With Lunar Cycle being online and on the board, it's one way to just get those energies sort of in and around somewhere you can find them. In those discard pile, you can grab them with that superior energy retrieval at some stage. At least for 6, while we're working, we do have a fighting energy.
We've got the Mega Lopunny, and we have an energy. We could attack here. We could go in for a Gale Thrust. It'll do 60 plus 170 because it will have moved from the bench into the active spot this turn. And just take down the Frillish and stop the item lock in its tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. It could be one way to really just keep applying pressure every single turn, because Cosmic Beam right now won't be doing enough, of course. Only able to do 70 damage so long as you have that Lunatone also on your bench. We do now see Lunar Cycle does hit into a Gholdengo EX alongside, I believe that's the Cypher Maniacs as well, the one-off copy. Cypher Maniacs code breaking is another way to essentially tutor any 2 cards in combination with the clone bonus. But we do get the hard manual retreat here. Gale Thrust is live with the additional damage output, and it's a knockout on that Frillish in the active spot.
Mega Lopunny launches itself from the bench for a huge attack. Didn't need a huge attack, but Frillish unfortunately succumbed and is now in the discard pile. Obviously, it activates Pheasantipity, which we love. 3 more cards there for Ted to hopefully bring this back around, grab ourselves a Gardevoir, and get going to be able to retaliate. Now, the tough part is that Mega Lopunny itself is kind of out of range of any of Ted's attackers. We're not going to be one-hit KOing it, so that can be a bit troublesome. It's whether you then start targeting benched Pokemon instead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 330 HP is definitely hefty. I know it's a Mega. I know you can take 3 prizes with it, but it's real difficult to overcome. But with Ted at the moment, we're going down the secret box routes for the moment. He does have Gardevoir EX in hand right now. It looks like the Night Stretcher Iono Technical Machine Evolution is coming to the hand. I'm sure we're likely to see the Night Stretcher for that routes because, you know, just in case my Gardevoir ever goes down, we're going to need a way to get it back online once again. There is the Gardevoir EX. Here comes the Night Stretcher now. That routes that did get taken out by Cosmic Beam. It's going to be real interesting to see how this pays out in the end. We're just getting that out of our hand as well. Technical Machine Evolution. And I'm sure we're just going to look for one of those partners, and there it is. That Screamtail hitting the field, ready and prime, ready to let roar a scream at one of those bench Pokemon.
Yeah, being able to target the bench is a nice way of getting around the Lopunny, but it doesn't deal with the issue at hand in the end. Mega Lopunny still able to attack for very few energy, and it's already got the 1, so it can already do 60 with Gale Thrust, and then 160 for that Spiky Hopper for 2 energy. So it's not going to take a lot for Lopunny to just kind of poke the Screamtail back to the discard pile. So it's about the long game here for Ted and Daniel. They're both needing to think sort of 2-3 turns ahead here to be able to piece together the correct sequencing of attacks.
Yeah, there's plenty of energies to work with. So there goes the double Psychic Embrace to the active. So 4 damage counters right now to be playing around with. If he does commit another one, he will have the full 6 to be able to maneuver over, and that could be one way we start to try and, you know, whittle down against some of these single prize Pokemon. Those Gimmighouls do have 70, and so does the Lunatone, has 110. Solrock right now still also has 70 HP remaining as well. So right now can't necessarily take an in-turn knockout via Adrenabrain as we do maneuver into the Screamtail. Does get the final Psychic Embrace onto the Gardevoir as well, so something to play with, but let's see what direction. I mean, he's got 3 choices, right? We've got the Gimmighouls that we want to try and take out, or try and remove some of the threats on the board of these single prizes. But let's see the direction that Ted's going to take us in.
Going to go towards the Lunatone, kind of breaking down that draw engine of the Lunatone Solrock, and also taking Solrock away as an attacker. We scream at the Gimmighoul, and it runs off to the discard pile as we take a knockout.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, eventually just trying to remove that additional draw power from the board. I'm sure at some stage, Ted's going to be thinking, I need to take out the other Gimmighoul before it gets to a Gholdengo stage as well. Right now, over on Daniel's side, he is eyeing up that potential of that Professor Churro scenario. That is one way to remove the Mega Lopunny out of play if he needs to do so, or maybe just try and prevent the additional damage counters coming back onto his board, because he could just essentially Gale Thrust without the additional damage from maneuvering from the bench to the active and still take the knockout here, as you called out earlier, Amy. Coin bonuses straight into a fighting energy. He has to be aware of how many energies he puts into the discard pile, because he knows his opponent is playing that Frillish, and mid to late game could be real troublesome to overcome. But 3 cards hits that Gholdengo EX to evolve up again.
Ooh, lovely. Giving us some more flexibility and protecting the Gimmighoul from those Screamtail. We've obviously got the Legacy Energy in hand as well, which is something that Screamtail kind of pivots between as well. We managed to use different ways of getting around that sometimes. And then, yeah, now it's just really which attacker we want to employ and where.
Yeah, because he did have a boss's orders in hand once again as well. There's the Hilda, which is a nice inclusion that we've seen because he is playing the Legacy Energy variant as well. That's also currently sat in the hand. So if a Pokemon is knocked out when this is attached, they do take 1 less prize. Professor Churro scenario onto that Lunatone just to try and protect it an additional turn is a great way, especially when you're already forcing the issue by taking a knockout here anyway. So it's just down to what else could Daniel do to really make it as difficult as possible. It's just going to be a retreat into this Soul Rock here. Does a little bit more damage than the Gale Thrust and can leave the Gale Thrust activated for a future turn. So big Cosmic Beam here.
Cosmic Beam taking down that Screamy Tail, and off to the discard pile they go. But being immediately hooked by a fishing rod back into the deck immediately by Ted.
You see the pace that Ted's there is playing that Super Rod. Not only is he chucking back in that Frillish and the Screamtail because it can access it via Artisan, but also utilizing the Earthen Vessel to get more energies into hand and the discard, and actually immediately goes for that Frillish. Oceanic Gloom is going to be one thing to keep an eye out for, because Daniel is starting to utilize a lot of those energies that are left in the discard pile, and that's what Ted is going to try and take advantage of.
And it very much makes sense. That Frillish is back. Ted's body language is giving us confidence.
Yeah, there is. I mean, it's like he's played this matchup before, Amy.
Oh, baby, he has. And onto that, Pheasantipity goes a Bravery Charm, and now we're Arvening, looking at a Counter Catcher. Fantastic idea.
Yeah, one way to try and slow down a game will make Daniel maybe commit some more energies to either have to retreat or send up a different attacker, and it becomes a real nuisance, especially when you're having to force your opponent to hard retreat with energy attachments, and you're also trying to item lock them. If that's the route that we're going down, it does seem pretty good for this moment anyway. Is that just a hand attachment there just to retreat the Gardevoir? Here comes the Frillish, the bane of some of the Gholdengos that I would be in existence right now. Free energy attachments, just trying to maybe get maximum value from Adrenabrain. 60 onto the Soul Rock. Let's remove that from play. And then just Oceanic Glooms and takes the knockout here. Down to 4 prizes, and it's on Daniel to try and retaliate into this Frillish.
Now, we've got a few different ways that we can play this out, but unfortunately, having had something knocked out, Mega Lopunny kind of wants that pivot. We need the air balloon on this Gholdengo, ideally for that to attack. So it looks like Gholdengo might be the choice of attacker this time instead. Let's see how this unfolds and how Daniel chooses to play this turn out. We've still got the Legacy Energy, so that maybe could be an option this turn now to kind of try and skew the prize trade in his advantage to keep this pace of play going. But we're going to use the Artisan first to bring back a Soul Rock to reactivate that draw engine and also give us another attacker.
Again, when you say reactivating the draw engine, I mean, it's always scary once again to just kind of pitch away another energy at some point. Just going through, it looks like I saw 1 fighting energy left, or maybe 2 fighting energies left in the deck or so. So it is starting to come a little bit sort of a resource management that we have to work with, as we do get the Legacy Energy just being committed. He's showcasing, of course, with both players knowing each other's list now. Ted is going to be pretty sure that he knew that this was coming at some stage. It does provide any energy type when attached as well. It is that ace spec, so it is just that one ace-spec of choice for the deck, of course. This is going to be ever so important how we play out the rest of this turn. No items.
No
from
items.
That attack.
Not allowed, but we can attack. And we've got more draw power. We can use these Gholdengo. We can use coin bonus. We've got at least 3 cards there in view right now. And we're going for our first 2. Are they going to help us get towards some energy retrieval? But we can't use that energy retrieval because that's an item. So we can't do that one. Is there going to be a way of getting towards an attack this turn?
Well, we're going to coin bonus once again to see what we're working with. Earthen Vessel is not going to be helpful in this scenario right now. There's no energy else in hand. Hilda will be able to grab 1 energy, I guess.
It's not enough, Alex. It's not enough.
And
that's only 50 damage.
And that's the problem when you've committed the legacy energy to the active already. That's going to be a real troubling spot here. I think Daniel is now eyeing up potentially having to work with different cards with that Iono, perhaps. And they're just double checking how many energies are actually left in the discard. Yeah.
Okay, here we go.
That feels pretty rough.
Iono. It is rough, you know. Oh, wait, are they? Oh, it's a Lily's, not an Iono.
Sorry.
I was like, what's going on? They're shuffling. No, Lily's is a big Lily's. It does get us more cards, but we do shuffle in, which means that the deck is further saturated with cards we don't want.
Especially after you already used your coin bonuses as well. We're going to be looking for some tricky pieces here. I mean, 2 energies will be able to do it, but then you are committing a lot more. And no, 1 energy found.
That's still not enough, though. No. That's the same as doing a Hilda, so it's a pass onto Ted's turn.
Yeah, so Ted here has an opportunity to really take advantage of this slow spot here from Daniel. Does have Frillish in the active spot, but how best can we navigate this turn? Do we try and remove something out of play? I think just the item lock really impacted Daniel's turn there, so it wouldn't surprise me if we just continue down that avenue, as it just looks like Ted is just deciding how best right now to utilize some of the Adrenabrain damage, of course, and just make sure that he has the energy in his discard pile to continue just maneuvering around and start rather than getting stuck at any point. He's got 2 more psychic energies left in the discard right now. He's committing both. It's just going to be, just going to be moving 1 Adrenabrain, 30 damage to the Mega Lopunny EX, bringing it down to 300 HP now.
We're getting into the more achievable notions now. Still quite a lot, still a bit out of Gardevoir's range, but that's what we're going to have to do, is just whittle away at that bunny. We're putting 1 damage counter there on Gholdengo using our second Adrenabrain and attaching for turn on the Gardevoir. And looking like we're going for another Oceanic Gloom. No more items again.
A super-powered Frillish in the active spot with 5 energy cards now there. So back over to Daniel. It wasn't really progressed too much or too heavily, it felt like. Now we're just kind of working with whatever cards we may be able to draw into with the coin bonus that's in the active spot. That will be an additional 2 cards. The bench would also provide an additional 1 card draw via coin bonus, unless you're able to maneuver into the active spot as well.
It probably is worth using the Cypher Maniac at this stage to guarantee yourself the other card we need. Like, do we have another energy in deck? Probably. I think we had 1 more.
Yeah.
And that would do it. That would allow for the knockout here. It's not the best move in the world.
No.
Just KOing a Frillish, we don't love that. But it does put us down onto 2 prize cards for Daniel, and that is completely workable for a victory.
Absolutely. And then it's just down on Ted to kind of work with. So I think right now, Daniel's just eyeing up that Lana's Aid as well. It's one of those, I say newer inclusions in more sort of recent months because of the prevalence of things like the Frillish or like Badoo. When you're being item locked, you can't use your superior energy retrievals, but you can still play supporters, and that's one way to put up to 3 of any combination of Pokemon that don't have rule box or basic energy cards from your discard pile into your hand. So yeah, he's just kind of telegraphing that right now. He's got 2 energies and the Lana's Aid in hand. I wonder if you're Ted, you're going to be able to read that and maybe hit them with an Iono as well. But let's see how this plays out.
It would be a good shout. Absolutely very, very strong move there would be to disrupt that hand, knowing that that's likely coming. We were able to cherry pick what we wanted there. He knows that Daniel does run a lot of recursion. That's why it wasn't too dangerous to put those energy in the discard pile in the first place. We missed the attack last turn, but we're making it rain this turn.
Just with the 2 energies, and that brings Daniel down to 2 prizes away from taking game 1 here, as Ted immediately counts how many energy cards we've already gone through, and that is 9 energy cards that's been counted. We have very sort of caster vision, know that there's 1 in the prizes as well, but Ted's thinking, well, how many energy does Gholdengo typically play? And that's where he's going to be coming down to the... Well, actually, he doesn't need to question himself. He's seen it. He knows how many energies there are. He knows there's actually only 12 in the deck and list and somewhere, and 1's attached. So he knows what we're working with, and he's just potentially trying to maybe go down that avenue again. So let's see how we do this here. Plenty of cards to work with. Ultra Ball top decked from that draw.
Who's the ideal attacker in this scenario? Who is going to get us towards this win? Now, the Gardevoir itself is a great attacker in this matchup, especially with its high HP total. It might be the way to go if we're thinking about being able to, you know, move the damage across with the Monkey Dory and then knock out the Gholdengo is the typical kind of Gardevoir play in this scenario. But I don't know if it's the most optimal play, considering that Daniel does just need that 2 prize knockout.
Well, there is that opportunity maybe to find a way to use Frillish 2 more times. Using it 1 more time really kind of, you know, Lana Zeta only gets 3 energies back, and if there isn't enough energies for Daniel to then take out a third and final Frillish, that could be 1 route to victory. But then there would have to be the commit maybe to something like the Mega Lopunny as an attacker. So there are threats that Daniel's been able to sort of build onto the board, and this is where Ted is having to deliberate right now. I think just having that Mega Lopunny just waiting in the wings as well, which is so efficient to work with, is a scary thought. So does Ted need to start being aggressive here? Or can we try and maneuver into another Frillish once again? He's eyeing it up.
Yeah, the concern is probably a Gale Thrust on the Pheasant Dippity, I would imagine, which is why the Bravery Charm kind of manifested on that quite quickly.
There goes a Frillish. That's the 2nd Night Stretcher utilized now. I remember he used 1 earlier for the routes that was knocked out with the Cosmic Beam. There is a Psychic Embrace retreat into the Oceanic Gloom Frillish. It's back once again, and we're going to start loading up with more energies once again as well, just to play around with some of the Monkey Dory damage counters. I like this is important as well, as we do get the counter catcher onto the Gimme Ghoul here.
We do have 1 air balloon in the list. It hasn't been utilized yet. So I imagine we'll be hoping to get a little bit further towards that, as Oceanic Gloom will descend on Daniel very soon. But only after we've moved some damage around using some monkey magic from Adrenabrain.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of Monkey Dory across this weekend so far. And this is where it really comes to the crux. Putting 5 damage on the Gimme Ghoul and taking the knockout. That's an interesting decision here, because now Gale Thrust by itself won't be able to take the knockout, but it's in range of a Soul Rock. Soul Rock Cosmic Beam dealing 70 damage will knock out Frillish because it only has 70 HP remaining. Does this spell a lot of trouble right here, right now? Because a simple knockout, there's double coin bonus being utilized. Professor Churro scenario and Picnic Basket as well. But Lana Zay, just get those energies back into the deck, and all I'll need at some point is to utilize something like Professor Churro scenario and Gale Thrust my way to victory somehow at some point.
Very true. That's a good angle as well. Daniel possibly going down to the 1 prize card mark, where Iono becomes so scary in this case, taking him down to 1 potentially. But we do have card draw on board. It's probably where that other Gimme Ghoul came into play. But now we've got the Cosmic Beam for the knockout on that Frillish.
And he's just taken that air balloon also from the prizes as well. So another way to maneuver around the board state. And this is one of the things that we're going to have to try and work out now. Ted's got to find the route to victory here. Does start with, oh, here we go, counter catcher on the Mega Lopunny EX. Double Psychic Embrace to the active, has 60 damage counters to play with.
Wow.
And double again to the Mega Diancie EX. And is that it? Hang on, I think that's it. That's enough damage.
Cards. A Garland Ray takes the lead, taking Ted to a 1-0 victory. A very tight victory indeed, but Mega Diancie EX came through and the game plan was set.
Yeah, what an incredible display. I mean, being able to just place the 30 damage earlier from the Monkey Dory and just kind of leave it there waiting in the wings as we get a chance to watch this all back because there were such intricate movements here. The Screamtail to knock out the Gimme Ghoul there and then also just apply some pressure onto the Soul Rock Lunatome. At the same time, Frillish taking just a couple of knockouts by itself and keeping item lock sort of sufficiently on the board. That was the 30 damage there from the Adrenabrain to the Mega Lopunny, keeping it ready for 300 damage from a later Mega Diancie plus more Adrenabrains, and that was more than enough. Really forcing the issue by item locking your opponent, knowing they can't play any of the items. I mean, I don't think we saw a superior energy retrieval, and then that was the moment where we take the final knockout here with this Gimmighoul, putting Ted down to 3 prizes, and we highlighted it earlier, Amy. Mega Pokemon give up 3 prizes. Despite being 330 HP base, they are going down if you hit enough damage on them.
Absolutely, and we, manipulated lots of damage with Monkey Dory across that game, and it allowed us to get into that position where Garland Ray was enough.
Yeah, I do wonder if Daniel ever thought maybe just playing out that Professor Churro scenario on that turn. I think there were maybe still, there was one more copy left, right? Because he'd used one earlier on that Lunatone. Maybe just removing it out of play, maybe for one turn would be able to keep it out of range.
Yeah, just for a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe that would, because he was only 1 prize away. He was so close. But Ted was able to find the route to victory, and now he is 1 game closer to meeting Ethan in the final, whilst Daniel has it all to do.
That would be a rematch between Ted and Ethan. Ted was the only one to beat Ethan in Swiss. So that rematch would be quite a tale to be told.
Especially with both our players previously having said it's 55-45 in their favor. But at the same time, Daniel was here trying to stop that from ever happening.
Very much so, with their newer variant
yes.
of Gholdengo with the Legacy Energy.
Yeah, exactly that. So Ted, big sigh of relief there. He's just big deep breaths. He is closer, but Daniel's going to have to be working through mulligan there from Ted. That gives Daniel an opportunity to get an additional card on his turn until Ted is able to find a basic Pokemon to start the game. And both players here, plenty of time to go. We do get a chance to see the prizes from Daniel's side at the moment. Baneri in there. Could have been useful earlier, but at the same time was a bit of a target a moment ago because of its evolution to the Mega.
It is an early prize card, though. It's low down.
True.
You usually expect most players take them bottom up, right? So in that instance, a knockout with a Soul Rock or something does provide that Baneri to his hand.
Yeah.
So almost I don't hate the Baneri in the prize cards at that level. It's the Pheasantipity that kind of makes me a little like, oh, I'm not sure about that. And the Professor Churro scenario. You do play 2 in the deck, so that is 1 of 2, so it's not too crazy.
Absolutely, and both our players now, I think Ted's mulligan once again, so Daniel will get another card if he wishes to take the mulligans, of course, once he has consults his hand. Ted does need to open with a basic Pokemon from these opening 7 cards to be able to kickstart the game off here.
Let's see if he gets one this time. We've done it! We've only gone and done it. There's a basic Pokemon on either side. Daniel will get to draw 2 additional cards. And, oh dear.
Oh dear, no access.
That is a thorn.
And if you said it, there's a fist bump. We're kicking things off, but we just did see the Frillish in the prizes and near the top as well. So it's something we're going to have to keep an eye out. If Ted suddenly does start picking from the top, or maybe he did before, I'm not really too sure. We'll consult him as he does take prizes, but maybe no Oceanic Gloom throughout for game 2.
And it definitely was the kind of pinnacle. It was the tactic. It was the be-all and end-all for Ted last game. It's what kept him in this against Daniel, and it was something he kept coming back to even when Daniel looked like he was actually pulling ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get a chance again for everyone to see all of the prizes that Daniel has right now. You know, some of those pieces are multiples of. There are the singletons of the Pheasantipity EX and the Baneri there. But immediately he does get the Soul Rock Lunatone. Draw Engine package online, not even just Draw Engine, Attacker online, is everything you need online. as he deliberates what other item cards might be used. I mean, he must be feeling like there's that threat of that Frillish coming down at some point. So maybe just trying to play down a few more items would be good. But at the same time, there's that Earthen Vessel. Let's draw some cards first before I even commit to that gameplay.
Good idea. I like it personally. Making sure that you've got all of the information available to you before you commit to anything else. But we are going to want to be playing a lot of items because the threat of Oceanic Gloom would turn them off next turn. So ideally, Daniel's going to be looking to play practically all of them from his hand. We might go for the Earthen Vessel straight after this just to continue that momentum. Going for the Soul Rock there and grabbing 2 more energy from the deck. Probably expecting the Oceanic Gloom to descend. And when it doesn't, that might be quite a telling factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially if Ted's going to be playing a number of cards to search out Pokemon as well. But this is the direction. We got some fighting energies ready for future turns. We have the metal energy also in hand as well. So we could commit that to say, well, we do have it as either an attacker or a retreat option. But we're going to commit the energy to the Soul Rock first and say, I'm going to start swinging away with Cosmic Beam at some point. Over to Ted. Turn 1. Opens Secret Box and top decks. Lily's Determination pretty much has it all here, especially with that Earthen Vessel to grab further psychic energies, also to continue discarding them.
That was you saw that. That was the sit back and pause as I don't have. Look at that. The body language is giving it away. We can see the hand over the eyes there for Ted has shown that he's figured it out pretty quickly. We've got no Frillish. So what is the move? Using this Earthen Vessel to do the initial deck search. Secret Box, using it to get rid of 2 psychic energy. And a Professor's Research? Yes, a Professor's Research.
So we're just grabbing those 4 trainer cards, a tool card, a tool card, an item card, a supporter, and the stadium. Again, giving a plethora of cards to work with on this turn. But if we play the Artisan, we know your opponent can then utilize that as well. I mean, it's the only sport even Daniel was playing in his list, just 2 Artisans, so you don't always want to give that necessarily anyway, but it will make them 2, quote-unquote, unusable cards if you play your own Artisan here.
So very true, when otherwise you could use it as kind of a payment for an Ultra Ball and then use Daniel's later on. But in this scenario, it looks like we're going to need to use everything we can get. We're probably going to need to use Artisan to further our play instead. Look like we're going for the Earthen Vessel just to make sure we're getting plenty of energy. Using the Earthen Vessel on the another psychic energy that we took from the previous one and going in for some more.
Yeah, absolutely. Here we go with another psychic energy coming to the hand, getting attachment to the routes with Technical Machine Evolution and the Artisan down now. So we'll Lilies first before we play action the Artisan Stadium on the board, because then we might just draw into the routes and we can Artisan for something else like a Monkey Dory instead. Just giving the most percentage chance of actually hitting one of those Pokemon. But then we're probably going to need to try and be an aggressor at some stage. Really start forcing the issue because we know we can't go into the Oceanic Gloom Frillish as a backup option to try and slow the game down or even completely change the game mid to late. But we do see a couple of EX Pokemon. We do find the route, so we can Artisan for something like the Monkey Dory or maybe another routes itself. But yeah, it looks like the Monkey Dory for the time being will evolve up one of the routes. And then will be over to Daniel just to kind of see how he navigates this turn as well. Maybe he's going for the other routes and get double Curlier down.
I think considering his situation, which he knows he needs to be a little bit quicker because he doesn't have the Frillish to slow Daniel down by force, he's going to need to go faster. And that's the problem, is that you're not running the deck in the optimal way because you've got to speed up. Speaking of speeding up, let's circumvent some evolution. 2 Curlier now on the board. Over to Daniel.
Yeah, a number of items, Picnic Basket and a couple of Superior Energy Retrievals in hand, plus the energies as well. So we'll be able to Lunar Cycle if he wishes to do so. I mean, hasn't seen the Frillish come down. I don't know if he got any of the tell from Ted when he was searching through the deck that is not available. But here comes Lunar Cycle, 3 cards, Artisan there, Boss's Orders, and a Nest Ball. Do we play any other damage modifier? I don't think so. We know Premium Power Pros that could overcome the additional HP of those Curliers, at least for now. Or can we boss his orders and evolve up to the Gimme Ghoul for the moment? But it's just just a Professor Churro scenario. Let's find that to maneuver out, save the energy on the Pokemon, and we'll just take a cheeky little single prize knockout here and just start applying a load of pressure on the Gardevoir player.
Going in for the Artisan. You can use the opponents. Got one in hand. We don't need it. I'll go ahead and use yours, buddy. I think at this point, the penny might be dropping about Baneri. So we're going to go for the extra Gimme Ghoul this time. Both players not being able to utilize an early mechanic they used in the previous game that led them towards taking a lot of prize cards on either side.
Yeah, at least not right now. I mean, it's one of those things where he has got the 4th Gimme Ghoul and does take the knockout there. Routes goes down, Curlier to the active spot. Does have a number of items that have been taken, so we're just looking. He does grab the Baneri from the prizes there, kind of just showcasing for everyone at home to follow with as much information as possible. It's going to be one of those pieces where you can't use yet,
but will definitely be useful later down the line. But now we know that the threat of the Mega Diancie is there as well, so there's a lot to be taken into consideration.
Yeah, there comes the Ultra Ball, pitching away the Mew EX, does grab the Monkey Dory with a Dark Energy, does also Artisan straight into another attacker here as Iron Up that Scream Tail. We know that came up trumps in the first game and just generally throughout this tournament, I'm sure, for Ted. Lily's Determination for the full 8, no cards to shuffle back in either, so it will be a fresh 8. So look at the pace that he's playing at. He knows exactly what he has to try and do here rather than necessarily have to be in the thinking position of having to try an item lock when he just doesn't have that available to him.
Absolutely. He's got to go faster, and so he knows that he's playing not only fast, literally, but also metaphorically, and getting a plethora of new cards. We've got that full 8 from Lily's as we haven't taken a prize card yet. And we've got loads of energy in the discard pile to Psychic Embrace back onto Gardevoir itself. We get 20 damage for that. Switching back into the Scream Tail, putting damage on that one as well. And then choosing which target's Monkey Dory is going to move the damage, presumably off of Gardevoir, towards one of Daniel's Pokemon.
Yeah, now it's just which target does he go for? Does he go for that engine of the Lunatone, maybe just trying to slow things down? Does get, 6 damage counters on that Scream Tail. So that means that Scream Tail will be doing 120 damage where it likes to. Just puts the 30 damage and takes down the Gimme Ghoul with the energy for the moment. Again, makes the energy go into the discard pile, which is always sometimes where Daniel wants it, but with item lock, sometimes not where he wants it. But let's see how this all plays out. Lots of cards in Daniel's hand, and that's even without any Gholdengo EXs available to him.
Yeah, the Gholdengo are thoroughly in the deck right now, but unlike last game, we have access to all those items, so we can go ahead and start utilizing them to full effect. So thank goodness we can go ahead, we can Nest Ball, we can Fighting Gong. We do need to get on with drawing some more cards because this isn't particularly the best setup right now for us, but we are far away from a bad situation equally. We can still take out this Scream Tail. We're continuing to keep pace with the prize card journey that we're expecting. So it's not too bad overall.
Yeah. Just to confirm that, I don't think that Artisan's been used yet. I think that was just on there from Ted's turn. So Daniel does have an option to double check what is in the deck and what might be available as well if he wishes to do so. I don't think there's many other options generally for the Artisan for him. At the same time, as we do get a Nest Ball being utilized now, just kind of confirming there's not many other basic Pokemon that you can pull out of the deck for the time being, especially with one, I think it was a Soul Rock prize right now. There is Lunatone still in there somewhere.
But we don't really want to be putting that down. We don't want to overcommit. We need that bench space.
Sometimes it's even good just to keep that bench space open, because if you get hit with an Iono, all of those good item cards do get shuffled to the bottom of the deck, and that's one way to kind of replace all of the cards, reshuffle all of those cards just by utilizing the Artisan at some stage on a future turn. So maybe sometimes keeping that space is really useful, but he needs to draw cards. He needs more. It feels like despite having 8 cards or so in hand, it's not quite enough. So he's deliberating whether we're using a Superior Energy Retrieval on this turn just to be able to actually just start getting some more draw power. As we do go and retreat, he wants to get full value from the Superior Energy Retrieval because you get up to 4. And there it is, discarding the Artisan and the Nest Ball, so it gets all 4 energies. Sure, we're going to see the Lunar Cycle here, Amy, 3 cards.
Yeah, we want to be getting towards that Gholdengo now. We've committed to this line.
I mean, Solrock could have taken the knockout there.
Oh, beautiful. We got the Legacy Energy and Gholdengo.
Does have the boss's orders as well, so...
Could be a big turn, Alex.
Yeah, do we keep going at this point? And okay, maybe not. It hasn't really hit any other energies other than those 3 in hand right now.
Got 1 more in the discard pile.
Yep, just from that Lunar Cycle we just had. Doesn't have access to Earth and Vessel or anything. There's the commitment of the Legacy Energy. So with 3 energy in hand, and Baneri comes down, boss's orders onto Monkey Dory as an option. Maybe just trying to limit the
trouble.
Yeah, the dark energy attachments. Adrenabrain going offline is always a good thing, but it does require all 3 energies.
It does, but we have another energy retrieval in hand. And I think at this point, Daniel feels quite confident that we don't have the Frillish yet. So looks like we're feeling a little more comfy in this position right now. Going for that knockout straight off the bat, taking down the Monkey Dory to prevent shenanigans like last time. It was quite impactful.
Yeah, absolutely. Making it rain, 150 damage there. Gardevoir now in the active spot, always utilized as a Pokemon to push forward to get more damage counters available in play. As we do see the other Monkey Dory come down with a dark energy as well. And now it's just, what else can we do to just kind of manipulate the board and be in a much more advantageous position? Double checking their energy counts once again. Could be a bit of a ploy saying, maybe I will pretend that I will need to get the Frillish out because you're starting to utilize a lot of those energy cards. But little does he know, here comes what looks like an Iono.
I think so. Putting Daniel down to 4 cards in hand while Ted will get a fresh 6. Trying to prevent Daniel from continuing to have so many cards in hand. I suppose if you... I know at this stage you're thinking, okay, well, hopefully you won't hit another fighting energy and then can't Lunar Cycle at least.
Yeah, there's a couple of different options. I mean, does have the 3 energies right now attached on that Scream Tail. I'm assuming that there are enough energies for this Gardevoir to actually be maneuvering and pivoting around. Doesn't have access to a Ball Search or anything like that for the time being. So we do have the energies that are going to go on the Gardevoir from Psychic Embrace. Moving up to 50 damage on it. Scream Tail is maneuvering into the outer spot now. Still capable of dealing 120 damage and is just moving some 30 damage counters from Adrenabrain onto the other Gimmighoul. And now it's just a choice of target. Choosing the Baneri. Sees the little bunny, sees it as a big threat, so screams it off the table and into the discard pile there. And now back over to Daniel here. Still the initiator in this prize race. Gholdengo now in hand as well.
Baneri had to hop off to the discard pile, unfortunately became too scary. Honestly. Look at the threat in front of you. It was a great decision. And let's see how Daniel chooses to respond. We've still got that Gholdengo, and you know, Ted's been doing a great job of pivoting around this Legacy energy thus far. Did it really well last game, is doing it again now. So the Legacy energy becomes much less efficient if your opponent doesn't take the knockout.
Absolutely, and this is where also with Daniel not really having to overcommit with all those energies like he had done in game 1, lots of maneuvering around, retreating, hard retreating with energy costs. It's just utilizing it for Lunar Cycle right now. Has a few of those energies. Gets coin bonus first. Those free sort of draw power that you could get. Ooh,
superior energy retrieval. We've already got 3 energy in hand. We can evolve one of these Gimmighoul to give it a bit more oomph when it comes to HP.
So 230 HP now on that Gimmighoul. Does find the Mega Lopunny. Unfortunately, Baneri has hit the discard pile. So not as useful. I'm sure we're going to Lunar Cycle here. I feel like that hand is just still not good enough yet.
It's not there, is it?
Just what are we looking for? Do we want to try and target something a bit better than just this active? Just finds the Lily's Determination as a supporter for turn.
It's not quite right. It's not quite what we want.
No,
we want to be really taking down that Gardevoir if possible.
Yep,
but right now, not happening.
Needs 6 energy and the boss's orders to be able to do so, but hasn't found it, despite drawing essentially an additional 5 cards there. No, 6 cards there. through Coin Bonus and Lunar Cycle. Does play 4 copies of Boss's Orders. 1 is prized. Gets the energy attachment to the Soul Rock here. Is that a safe place to put it, considering you know your opponent is playing an item lock? Cards, Lily's Determination being now utilized to shuffle his hand back into the deck and draw 6 new cards. 30 minutes on the clock.
Might help us for next turn.
Very true. Very true. I feel like it's just one of those things where it's all about that energy resource management now. Because you're always going to have to be in the back of your mind thinking that Frillish will come down at some point. Little does he know that Ted has prized it.
Unlikely for a long while yet. But this is looking like an okay hand for next turn. We have the Boss's Orders. True. We've got Superior Energy Retrieval. We have 1 energy to kind of play with right now. Yep. And we're just going to go for the simple Make It Rain knockout on the Screamtail. Yeah, so now it's like committing 2 energies at that point for 1 turn, because you're having to already attach to the Soul Rock as well, and then also then pitching 1 away or discarding 1 away for Make It Rain. Ted, I'm sure, is probably going to double check and pick up the energy, the discard power at the moment, double check the numbers in there. It's always good to keep track of it. It's probably 5 or so in there right now, 4 or 5. Monkey Dory coming down once again. Double Monkey now available. Night Stretcher used for the Screamtail and the Bravery Charm and Iono to boot. So will this be the way to turn it back in Ted's favor? He's only 1 prize behind after all. That's a huge Iono disrupting Daniel at the pivotal moment, building up that Screamtail so it's going to be able to knock out the benched Gholdengo for 2 prize cards. Yeah, Pheasant Dipty being choice of the Nest Ball, being able to flip the script, considering your opponent has on their last turn taken a knockout or taken a prize effectively. And now it's just flip the script for 3 cards. Let's see what we're working with. Rare Candy's not as useful right now. We have the Gardevoir and the Curliers already. Psychic Embrace to the active. We're now moving back into that Screamtail. We're doing it again, Amy. We're just going to load up some more energy cards this time, it looks like. And maybe go for a massive knockout that will potentially allow Screamtail to take a big knockout on a Gholdengo on the bench. A deafening blow going to Gholdengo is going to knock him right off that surfboard and into the discard pile, as we first of all have to move some damage around with Monkey Dory. Of course, we have 2 to utilize. We have up to 60 damage to move around with. And looks like we're going to take the knockout on that Gimme Ghoul, furthering to disrupt Daniel's draw power, leaving them with just 1 Gimme Ghoul, 1 Gholdengo and our Lunatone. We got the knockout of the Gholdengo on the bench. And it's time to see if Daniel can handle this Iono. And that sends Ted down to 1 prize card remaining. And you can see from the board say it has actually found a Frillish as well. So it has another avenue to victory if Daniel needs to do so. But by loading this Screamtail, it has to be dealt with, because there's no way to just remove it completely out of play and taking out a Gardevoir and also finding a way to disrupt the hand. So asking a lot of questions. Ted there, I think, looking pretty comfortable for the moment, just kind of sitting back, knowing exactly the game plan from this spot. And this is going to be a pivotal final couple of turns. It feels like Ted really putting himself in a commanding spot, just really overcoming where Daniel's position was. Yeah, Daniel's now got a long mountain to climb as Ted is set up in a very commanding position, unlikely to falter after this next turn. The only thing that could possibly kind of take this away would be taking down a Gardevoir and the Screamtail in the same turn, but it's just not possible with this makeup. Yeah, not with this list. Ted also knows Daniel is not playing any disruption cards as well. We've seen a sprinkle of Iono sometimes in some Gholdengo lists. This one does not. So does that mean writing is on the wall here? But we're going to continue, of course. We have to play to every single ounce. Gholdengo in the active spot will give up only 1 prize because of that legacy energy, but 1 prize is all it needs. That's the problem. 1 prize card stands between Ted and the finals. 1 prize card that Daniel's going to do everything in his power to prevent Ted from taking.
and trying to progress the game himself. And that's the trouble. If Daniel was down to 2 prizes remaining, maybe, you know, he'd be digging and looking for an out to try and take down that Pheasantipity or the Gardevoir EX, for example. But with 3 prizes remaining, Ted's put himself in such a commanding position here. And there's not really much that Daniel has in his hand that he can work with. And that's the problem. There's plenty of energies in the discard. We'll get one last big, massive attack, but then that Screamtail can take down either one of those single prizes with ease.
Using Artisan to check the deck. If there's anything left, any remaining answer, anything that can save the day, that can prevent Ted from taking that final prize.
Yep, do we have 6 energies committed right now to the Screamtail? A couple of dark energies attached to the Monkey Dory. There's 1 dark energy in the discard pile. Maybe, is there a way to maybe just trap a Pokemon at all?
I don't think we have access to a boss right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's just means there's going to be that Cypher Maniac's code breaking being utilized, being able to choose 2 cards to the top of the deck. Does that mean that gives all the information that Ted needs to say that he will be winning this? This boss's orders being put to the top of the deck as well. This is the troubling point. I think I'm just trying to look at Ted's hand at the same time. There is
the knockout on the Screamtail.
Can we do it here? I think there's a couple of pieces that will show it off. Mega Diancie EX from the hand. Attachment to the active. Just needs to promote Psychic Embrace to the active. Adrenabrain to the active as well. And there it is. Ted Tobin makes his way to the final with Gardevoir EX to face Ethan with his Festival lead deck. Gholdengo does not get any further.
Being able to take it this far, Ted's tenacity triumphs through and is headed into our finals here at Seville Special Championships. Let's see how that game 1 went once more.
Yeah, game 1, Screamtail, again, putting in all that work. But alongside that was that Frillish, utilizing that Oceanic Gloom to really slow down Daniel's game plan. There was plenty of energies on it. It was still only doing 20 damage, but that 20 damage with the item lock was more than enough. Alongside Adrenabrains being able to just apply so much pressure with damage counters because of the Psychic Embrace, and then eventually a massive Garden Ray from that Mega Diancie EX was able to take a big free prize knockout.
Absolutely huge. And in the second game, we had a pretty strong setup from both players. Ted managed to overcome the trouble of having that Oceanic Gloom Frillish prized and still keep pace, knowing that you had to go faster with this build and leave the Monkey Dory until later, taking multiple rolls to get them set up quicker, and then just started this flurry of attacks with this Screamtail.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the damage placements of the 30 to each of those Gimmighauls as well. Just saying, well, when you evolve it up, I'm going to find answers to those Gholdengos on the bench because I can stick a Bravery Charm on my active Screamtail, boost up the HP, boost up his damage output, and take multiple knockouts, sending him down to just 1 prize remaining. And this was the final turn, Amy. That's Mega Diancie once again, that late game finisher, doing massive amounts of damage and taking Ted all the way to the final.
Absolutely incredible. Mega Diancie is a card that has flip-flopped in and out of Gardevoir decks since it came around. Ted showing the true power of Mega Diancie and why it's in that deck. It was one of the reasons that Ted was able to close out both games.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been one of those cards that, especially with all the dark type Pokemon and decks that are out there right now, it's one of the few Pokemon attackers that Gardevoir can utilize and not be hit for weakness. And it coming back in really just comes up trumps once again because